Good morning, students and listeners. Welcome back to the lecture of Introduction to Python. In previous lecture, we have discussed regarding the characteristic of Python, history of Python, why are we using Python, analog IDE, Python and modules, and the practical session. In lecture 2, we will discuss about data types. Before going further in this lecture, let me make you a clear comfortable that we are going to use IPython prompt for feeding code and observing the output. You can also use Anaconda IDE, Spider IDE, or Google Colab to avoid need of installation of required packages. We suggest that you write detailed descriptive comments wherever needed to enhance understanding of workflow of given code. Here I am not providing any comments along with the code, as I would be explaining it line to line. In this chapter, we will discuss the various kind of data in Python and their categorization into several data types. Modern computers distinguish data in several types. Means data can be numbers, it could be characters, strings, a group of characters, and so on. In Python, you can define new data types as and when required. There are some inbuilt-in data types for handling numbers and characters. Different data types occupy different amount of memory. It is important to understand your needs and choose a data type accordingly. Data type also determines the accuracy of the answer. We will discuss the various built-in data types in Python in the following slides. So, today we are going to discuss logical data type, numerical data type, sequences, mapping, and null objects. So let's move to the first section of today's lecture is logical data type. So this type of data stores Boolean values in true or false form and can be operated in Boolean operators by Boolean operators such as and or. Most programming languages uses the values of 1 and 0. For example, in your microcontroller programming, in C language programming, you have already used these features, but Python differs in this approach, and we can explore this one by one. As you can see, there are four type of operators: and, or, XOR, and not. The Python functions related to each is provided as in this table, if you can see here. The symbolic functions related for each and every Python function is also has been provided in this table. The logical truth table, as you know, for OR, AND, XOR, and NOT has been provided. We will evaluate some of the examples on IPython platform. We will also evaluate complex logical statements and comparison of operators also. So let's evaluate this and let's start our coding session. So in Python, as I have suggested regarding true, if I write true, it will give me output of true. For false, it will be false. When I am using not operator, it will be false. And when I am using and operator, it will give me an output of false. The same case occurs with true and false. If I use OR operator, the same case will occur. True. If I use the symbol function, there is some syntax error. Let me check it again, because I have used the space command. Okay, since Python is case sensitive, we have to avoid using space. Similarly, if I can also use a symbolic function of AND, and it will give me an output. So these are the simple functions that I have shown you. Now let us switch over to the complex logical statements. Let me clear the editor first. Now for complex statements, I mean, for example, it is true, and then I will write and again true, and then I will write or and give it for example this type of statement. This is a type of complex statement. Let's see what is the output. It will be true. The same thing occurs if I use one or and one and function. It will also give me an output. For example, if I write this type of complex statement, true or true will be true, and true and false will be false. So true or false will be true. It's nothing but 1 and 0 combination. But in Python, instead of 1 and 0, it is using true or false. I hope you are getting this. So it is important to see the usage of parenthesis enables the user to club together the logical expression in the meaningful way. By logical operations, for example of comparison operators, I want to compare 2 or 3 operators. Not 2 or 3 means I want to compare two numbers, whether I am right or wrong. For 2 is greater than 3. If it is true, no, it is not true, because 3 is greater than 2. For example, if I am going to use some equality operator, whether I am true or not, it will give me an output in Boolean language that it is true. The same type occurs for decimal and float. Python by default is an intelligent language. It will by default take this and it is true. So for example, if instead of 2 equal to 2, if I write true equal to 3, it will be made complex output. So now let's say complex expression, if it is evaluated or not. Suppose this is a type of complex expression, and we will try to evaluate it logically. Say 2 plus 3, that is 5, should be greater than -1. So it is true. So in this way, Python is going to this way you are going to use the data type and logical operator. Now let's move forward to our next session, our next slide. Numeric data type. So there are mainly 4. There is a mistake here. There are really 3 type of numeric data type. INT, that stands for integer. Float, FLOAT, that is for floating point number. And the third one is complex, stands for complex number. The integer data type is in Python, as you can see here, as we can say that there are mainly 3 type of data type: float, long, and complex number. As a result, the limit of the length of the numbers is subject to the availability of memory. The positive side of this architecture is that the user are not limited to the range of number, but they must always ensure that sufficient memory is available during the calculation to avoid erroneous results. So this is a part of integer type of data type, the positive side of integer type of data type, that the memory location is limited to the range of numbers. I mean to say, it's not limited to the range of numbers. In Python, to limit of size of integer to bytes to the same size as in I'll change the slide by mistake, as in the C program language, whereas in Python 3 has merged integer and long as int. So if you are using Python 2 as a programming language, it has long and integer as separate data type, but in Python 3 integer and long has been merged, so only int has been there, which is also used for long data type too. If you are using a 32-bit system, Python 3 will store int as a 32-bit, and if you are using a 64-bit computer, it stores as int as a 64-bit. So the built-in data type function type is used for data type. We can also check it here. For example, in my code, I am going to write in Python what is the how can I check the type of the command or object. First we will clear the sign. Now, as I have suggested, type is used for knowing the data type of data. So I want to know what is -1. By default it will give me an integer class. If in the similar way, if I remove the negative sign, the integer is means signature is not an issue in integer type, so it will show me this. As seen in this example, the Python interpreter allocates data type dynamically. In other words, what I want to say is it allocates data type to the input based on its definition. This is quite convenient for programmer. See, 1 automatically becomes an integer, but when I use 1.0, it will by default become a float. I don't need to define float separately as in all different languages in C like that you have done. Okay. The second data type, let me move to the slide again. The second data type is float type data type. In computing, floating point notation is a scheme of representing an approximation of mathematical real number. A real number is usually written with a decimal point. So, for example, 2 is an integer, whereas 2.0 is a real number. The two numbers are quite different to a computer, while we can say 2, which will be stored as integer type, while 2.0 will be stored as float type. This example I have already shown you in the IPython platform too. Now, the mapping of a real number of a computer storage system is a formulaic representation, which is also called the floating point representation. The floating point representation is real numbers which are expressed in 3 parts: significand, base, and exponent. So for example, if the value of pi, which is 3.14159 and so on, if we consider that only 4 significant digits for a particular calculation, its value will be written as 3.1415. Now, this number is represented as 31415 into 10 raised to -4. Here 31415 is called significand, 10 is base, and -4 is exponent. While assigning a number to significand, the information about the number of significant digit is used. The significant figures of a number are digits that carry the meaning contributing to its measurement resolution. It should be noted that it contributes to measurement resolution. In this case, we assume only 4 significant digits, depending on the requirement. For this particular example of pi, the term floating point, which resembles to the fact that a number's radix point, decimal point, can float. That is, it can be placed anywhere relative to the significant digit of the number. This position is indicated as exponent component. Thus, floating point representation can be thought as a kind of scientific notation, which we are using many times. So as I have already mentioned you, that there are mainly 3 categories of floating point, 3 main parts of a floating point number: significant, base, and exponent. One of the part which is left is called sign. A sign is one of the important part which also plays an important role in memory allocation. Now, as you know that each part of floating point number is stored at different memory locations and occupies a specific number of bits. But how many bits are defined to which part? This question will be answered by the IEEE standard. IEEE standard which Python follows is IEEE 754. So before going further, we have to look to the concept of precision of number representation. So here you can see the number representation has been divided into 4 types of precision: single precision, which occupied 4 bytes of memory; double precision, occupying 8 bytes of memory; extended double precision, which occupies 80 bits of memory. See, it is not neither 8 means greater than 8, but it is not between the selection, means 8 and 16. It occupies 80 bits. The quadruple precision, which occupies 128 bits. This scheme can trade off between range and precision. So why I have mentioned range and precision, a trade-off between range and precision. See, while you are working with integer and when you are working with floating point, the two scenario changes for memory allocation. While integers have unlimited precision, floating point numbers are usually implemented using double precision. By default, they are double precise. The information about precision and internal representation of floating point number for the machine on which you are programming or your program is being run is available using the command sys.float float underscore info info. As you can see here, sys.float underscore info. Let me write this command on our Python platform. As we do every time, first we will clear this command window, parameter window. Now, the function which I am talking about, for implementing this function, we have to first import system module. After importing system module, you have to write sys dot float underscore info. This will give you a float info of the system. So using this float info function of sys, you can get this info. Sorry for the spelling mistake, it is info. Enter. So here you can see the system float info. The maximum number which can be expected by this system is 1.79 into 10 raised to 308, and maximum exponential is 1024. So this information changes by system. Maximum 15 digits, minimum digit 59, epsilon is 2.6 something. In the similar manner, when I have used float info, I can go for integer info. Instead of float, if I write int, it will give me an information regarding integer. So I have to change this also. It is not required actually, because it is comment. This particular sign, make sure it is used for commenting a line, so it is not a part of a command. So when you write system integer info sys.int underscore info, it will give you an output that total 30 digits of a size of 4, size of digit will be 4. 30 bits per digit will be allocated. So for a 32-bit Windows OS system, the integer info will be bits per digit will be 15 and the size of bit will be 2, while whenever we're going to use this system integer info command, this particular line, so whenever this command has been issued by Python, it will give me an output regarding to this number. So the issue is with floating point number based arithmetic is that answer is an approximation of a real number, since the real number are defined with 10 as their base, whereas computer works with 2 as a base. So there is always a trade-off between this number system. You are quite aware of converging a number system of base 2 to decimal that can be used. So to employ even more precise amount, you can say, for example, if you are using conversion function, means you are writing a command, writing a number of 0.123, means 0.123. It will be shown as 0.123 in decimal format, but actually in the number system it has been converted to base value. This is a limited use of approximated values has been used instead of real number, that I want to say, since maximum number is allocation is up to 1.2, means maximum is up to 10 raised to 308 command. So to employ even more precision, we are using decimal module, which has been used by the Python system, which returns the number as it's stored by the computer. So if you are you have to see that how this works. Let us show you. First of all, let us clear this command window. For example, now I have to use decimal function. So from decimal I have to import decimal function. This decimal function has been used to return number, means return number in stored format. So now I can directly use decimal, and I have to write 0.123. For example, this is my command. The output will be up to what we have seen to the maximum value, and you can see up to 14 digit or 15 digit or more output number can be shown. This is an approximation. It is not going to show you 1 2 3, you know, 3 is our end number, but it is showing you an approximation. That is what I want to explain you by saying that it gives an approximate output. The same case is if you are going for 1.2345, for example, 1.2345. okay, it will give me an approximate answer of 23449 and up to some number of digits. So now, for example, I want to know what is the type of this function. It is decimal, I know it is decimal, but what is the type? Either it is integer or something, or it is decimal, because we have seen that it only Python by default provides integer, float and complex number as its type. So this one comes in decimal type. It will show me decimal dot decimal because we are using the decimal function of a decimal module. So now I'm sure that you understand that what by approximation of real number I mean. For most of the cases the error is insignificant and you can ignore the fact that calculation using digital computer running on binary number system especially have introduced some error. But for some cases this error is significant and we need to take proper measure to calculate this error and counter it. Moving further, the complex data type. The complex number are extensively used in scientific and engineering studies. The imaginary part of complex number has important information about the phase of the signal. Now Python enables the use of complex number by creating an object called complex. The imaginary part is signified by adding a symbol j. I know you know that what is a complex number, but still we have to go through this, which signifies the IOTA, that is, it is j indicates it is square root of -1. Consequently, you can define a complex number as 2 plus 3i as 2 plus 3j in Python, because Python by default use j as an imaginary part. Another way of defining a complex number is to use the built-in function complex. Now this function has two arguments. The first argument shows the real part of the number and the second argument is the complex part of a complex number. So when I'm trying to code it in this Python console, let me show you how it is done. So without clearing, if I'm writing 2 plus 3j by default, it will give me a complex number in bracket. For understanding that whether it is a number or complex number, I want to check its type, and